Good morning, traders. I haven't done a video for a while, so I'm just going to get into it right here real quick here. So basically, in my opinion, the most telling aspect of this earnings season is how AMD reacts to earnings. So basically, if you look at using market webs and the volume profile on the weekly time frame, this gives us our year-to-date volume profile, how volume has played out for the entire current 2024 calendar year. And we're right near the lows, extreme lows of the year's inventory, suggesting a breakdown pattern happening here in AMD going into earnings tonight. So I know for a fact, I've got some friends that work in Seattle and California in the tech industry. They've all been laid off. Uh, so they're, guys at 20, 25 years with the companies that are being let go. These companies are, obviously the growth component to their business plans is in jeopardy, and they're trimming the fat out of their payrolls. So we have to be mindful of that going into AMD because, hey, what do you need PCs for? Why would you be buying new PCs in the face of layoffs in the tech industry? And that's exactly what we're seeing. And we know that China's struggling. We know Germany's struggling. So how can this be bullish in regards to AMD? So just keep that mindful in the back of our mind. We are getting a bearish reading here for AMD going into numbers tonight. It's really one of the most bearish charts out there. So it's really going to give us a big tell. Everybody's wanting interest rate cuts. Well, you're really going to have to see stuff like this fall apart to get those interest rate cuts to happen. Okay, so if we rally on AMD, you might as well forget about any interest rate cuts this year. The way they're talking and stuff suggests we're still going to get a rate cut this year, a quarter percent point even. In that case, I would suspect AMD is going to sell on the earnings tonight. So let's be very mindful. Now, what else could this would, in my opinion, this is your most leading area of the market to be looking at because the people who get laid off in tech industry at market peaks. This is the area uh, things that gets hit first. Dell's another one here. Okay, so what I tried to look for here is uh, you know Fibonacci retracement here. And you see where we are. So we've given up 60% of this year's trading range on Dell already. We're below that. We're trading below that. So this is actually very bearish to it. So this, in my opinion, once you start losing the 60% mark, it actually starting to turn bearish, in my opinion, here going into these numbers tonight. Another one that I really want to be in relation to this is Microsoft, because if in theory AMD, Dell, no, they're not buying PCs and stuff. What's that going to do with new licensings for the Windows for Microsoft? How big of an impact is that going to have? And right now, Microsoft has not been impacted, but I would be concerned if what I'm seeing in AMD and Dell continue to manifest themselves with Microsoft as well. So I really have that one. Keep that in the back of your mind. This possible scenario going forward here this week. Okay, and we already know Google came out last week, and Google came down. But where I would like to float this idea, guys, if the markets hold up, going into the end of the year here, I would think with all the political spending that you would be better served to be an ad in companies that are base their income on ad revenue than to try to a lot of the other areas of the market because we know there's going to be significant ad spending. Um, so knowing that, put your fib on here. Okay, knowing that, we're still in the bullish area, so the earnings are out. We're still in uh, the bullish side, in my opinion. The top 40% of this year's trading range. So, this, in my opinion, it still merits buy the dip on Google. So basically, if we're down here, we start losing that, then it's actually giving us a sell signal. But right now, Google's is looking like buy the dip. Another one that I want to mention here is Tesla. That was out last week. You look at the yearly range, we're in that upper tier. It's still looking bullish. Okay, we're up. We're fighting this upper 40%. Basically, if you get above yesterday's highs, you would want to be leaning more to the long side here for Tesla. So those two are out from last week, and they're still showing a bullish presence in those names. Okay. Other ones I want to look at here: Apple's up here in the upper 30% of its current yearly trading range. That's still a bullish chart in my opinion. Yeah, you really want to be losing that 60% in my opinion to actually turn bearish on names. Okay, and like I said, AMD and Dell are the ones that suggest that to me. And what are the other ones? Amazon. Okay, Amazon. I don't have it drawn out yet. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Uh, Should have had that drawn out already. Sorry. Come down here. So you're still fighting that upper 40%. So that's still in the bullish case here for Amazon. Uh, so basically that's my main takeaway going into tonight's. What I would do is wait and see the reaction to AMD tonight to see if we're setting up for a greater correction or if we're just this is just a typical pullback to buy the dip. Okay, because it's really too close to say here because we're getting really the stocks that are really showing some bearish signs are the ones it's reporting tonight. So we have to be very mindful of that, and that could take everything down with it if it because it's actually a bearish chart. Okay. This here, SPY's that's still up in the upper 20% of this year's trading range. Very bullish. Qs are actually showing a little bit more. We're down to the 40%. So we're right at a critical juncture. This could be a very critical back test for new all-time highs in the market. Right here, it could go either way. Uh, so we'll see what happens on the Qs. IWM's actually holding out very well. We're up in the upper 10% of this year's trading range on AMD or IWM. I'm sorry. So that's holding out fairly good still. And pre-markets are actually showing up pretty good here. Things are in the green here. The futures are green this morning. We're also in the upper 30% here on the Dow Jones. So if that gives you some idea here. So these are all bullish charts. Okay. The only takeaway that I have, you really want to wait and see the reaction to whenever you have mega caps like AMD reporting and the charts are actually bearish going into the numbers, it's best just to wait because that bearishness can bleed into everything else. So that's my main takeaway. Please like my video if you like it. Leave some comments below. I really appreciate it, your feedback and stuff. And if you guys see stuff that I don't, I've been working a lot, so I'm not really dialed in really close. I think this gives you a really good idea here. I'm waiting till tomorrow, and then I'm actually going to start putting some swing positions on. I think. But like I said, whenever you're going into and your most bearish charts are reporting, in what has been a very, very elongated bullish trend, I really want to see the reaction to those numbers. It could be a major short squeeze tonight on AMD. I don't think that's going to happen, but there is that possibility. So let's see what happens. Thanks a lot.